In this session, we'll do two things that will help you start to get organized in your background reading. One is to show how you can quickly locate some PDF and attach them to your citations here. And then the other is to group your citations. We've got, 700-ish citations here in the library, and in general, they have something to do with health coaching, and in general, with hypertension, there probably are some that we can discard. There might be some that we want to pull out into a subgroup. So first, let's look at finding a PDF. And so on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see that I've got a little pull-down menu here that says Find Full Text. I did an example of searching for one that couldn't be found, and then another that was. So I'm going to just click into the one that I did find, and it shows me for the citation, the impact of health coaching on medication adherence. If I double-click on the citation, it will take me, I hope, into the its own little window with all of the information: author's year, title, etc., journal. Scrolling down, all this information was imported from PubMed, including the abstract. But you'll also see here at the top of the page that there is now a little grayed out PDF and a paperclip. And so I can click on this, double click on it, and it will take me to the free text that's now attached here in my library. So this will help me when I start to try to figure out what references I do want to include in my research and what I want to just sort of put off to the side. So I'm going to go ahead and X out of that page and come back to all references and just try to select something else. Generally what will happen is you'll be able to get a reference pulled off the web, not violating any copyright laws, but open access journals are or society journals are an easy way to draw from. So I'll next select this one only because I think we'll have a good chance. It's Biomed Central Public Health. So I click on the citation and then right click, come down and say Find Full Text. And this is going to think for a while before it's going to find the full text. It's over here searching. So we'll give it just a moment. And the full text is found. So we have a second PDF that's found. So you'll also see now in the paperclip column has appeared, and wherever you have a full text in your library now, a little paperclip will appear here. So if I double click on this citation, it will take me again to the citation management window where I could add information or not as I like. And I can double click on the PDF, and here's the PDF observational study. We can tell right away. So I'll X out of this window. This is pretty straightforward. I don't think I'll demonstrate this for a third time, but you get the idea. So anything that does look interesting, when you have your smallish library here, go ahead and see what you can get your hands on easily. And then the next strategy would be to go into the campus online library, university library, and try to find citations there. That's a whole different pattern of searching. We'll do that in a little bit. It's much more specific, but again, for background reading, I think it's pretty clear that there is some literature on health coaching and health education on hypertension. So this is giving me something to get started with. So next I've got all of my references unfiled. And so I've added whatever 687 recently. I don't really need to look at that, so I'm going to close. I guess I can't really close out of that. But looking at what's unfiled, I do want to start grouping my citations. So whether the articles use hypertension or high blood pressure doesn't really matter to me. What does matter is separating out the health coaching from the health education. So I'm going to come up into my first just work with the unfiled references. So I'm going to stay in this section of the library, come over here and say health coaching, and search and see what turns up. And I have 32 citations. This is kind of where we started from in one of the earlier sessions. I will click the first one, scroll down, holding my shift key. And so now I've got all 32 selected. I will right click. I will add reference to create custom group. And so now I have a custom group. This is just basically like putting them in a separate file drawer, and I can come over to the new group, click on it, right click, rename, health coaching. And a reason we want to do this here is eventually we will need to, or I will need to, search for articles on health coaching related to other diseases and disorders, not specifically to hypertension. So I would be able to put them in a subgroup here. And then I can use that for citations for my introduction to my article. So next, health education, searching, and let's go back, to unfiled, and we will search for health education here. And I have 118. So what does that tell you? 118 versus 32. Health education is probably the tried and true strategy until health coaching came along. So I'm highlighting all of my references, right-clicking again, add reference to create custom group, my new group, coming over here, right-click, rename health education. And then I've got 593 references left. So I have a couple choices here. One choice, with anything under about 300 or 400, you really can scroll through them on your own. But in the 4 to 5, 600 range, that's a little much. So I could continue to try to thin the herd of articles by trying to scroll through, looking at the titles, to see if something else pops out at me that I could consider making another category. And so one kind of interesting thing, I don't know if this is going to work or not, is telemedicine. So I will make sure I'm in unfiled, and I will come here and I will put in telemedicine. But I'm also curious about just telephone calls, telephone kind of coaching, telephone health education. So this is distance interaction with patients. So I'm going to go ahead and click in or, and let's see what turns up, if anything, other than the one article that popped up. And so I've got 12 articles. So telehealth is another category for me, or subcategory. So I'll highlight all of these, and I think telehealth sounds kind of nice and friendly. So I will right click and I will add references to a custom group, and I will name my group, rename group telehealth. So now I've got another 581 to scroll through, but I've already got some categories within health coaching, health education, hypertension that can help me start to sort my articles I should say articles once I find them, but certainly sort the citations to figure out what I have to work with in starting out with my research.